just too lavish. I'm 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 just too lavish. Yeah.
Grindation is a coaching and community. So the word grindation, grind is about you pushing and giving everything you got to get what you want. The Asian on the back of it is your foundation. So it's the foundation of your grind. We deal with personal development. We deal with coaching and community. We deal with professional development. So it's all about giving people the tools and the vision to help and show them get any and everything that they want, whether that's in their marriage, their relationship, their business, their career, their life. How do I get to that next level? And you do that by grinding. You got to go all in. You got to hustle. You got to give it everything that you got. So like we talk about time, you got to put the time in. And there are certain principles that come along with that. So before you can be an entrepreneur, before you can do business, before you can do real estate, you got to know how to grind. What is your foundation? And so Grindation provides the foundation.
All right, welcome to the Young Millionaires Mind. It's your boy Shad, and today I'm here with Mr. Kendall Ficklin, entrepreneur, author, and life coach. I want to welcome you to the Young Millionaires Mind, Mr. Ficklin.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Honored to be able to sit with you guys. I love to see the young soldiers making things happen.
I appreciate it. Now go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers and tell us about yourself, what it is you do and what your businesses are.
So my name is Kendall Ficklin, and I am a full-time, keyword, full-time entrepreneur. I've been doing this for 20 years, full-time, and I have one business. I'm a servant. I use the platform of speaking, coaching, and authoring to serve people. That's what I do, and I'm just fortunate and blessed to be able to make a living doing what I love.
Oh, that's good. So I first heard you speak about 3 years ago at Georgia State, and there were two questions that you asked when you were speaking. What are you passionate about, and are you on your grind? What is it that you're passionate about, and are you on your grind?
So being passionate, that changes depending on where you're at in your life. So when I was your age, when I was in my 20s, early 20s, I was passionate about girls. I was passionate about women. And then I was also passionate about money. And then you get to a point where as you grow and you mature, you change, your levels change. And so I went from being passionate about women and chasing money to actually being passionate about being an entrepreneur, being a real businessman, and actually instead of chasing those things that can't be caught, I've learned how to pick up some things that sometimes need to be dropped. But I'm passionate about helping people, making an impact on people's lives, and while I'm doing that, being able to make a living doing what I love.
So what does it mean to be on your grind?
So the term grind just means to aggressively and assertively go after what you want. Similar to the word hustle, which, the negative connotation of hustle is that negative cat out there doing illegal activity. But to hustle just means to just get out there and do everything that you need to do to get what it is that you said you wanted. You said you wanted to make X amount of money. You said you wanted to buy that house. You said you wanted that car. You said you wanted all these things. But most people want what it looks like, and they don't want what it feels like. And that feeling is the grind. That's waking up early and getting to work and doing the things that you need to do. Now, here's the difference. Some people think that the grind is just literally going out there physically doing the work. Your mind got the grind. You have to master the mental part. And that's really the key to it, because there's levels to the grind.
Being that you're an author, you have a book titled Rise and Grind. In chapter 5, the title is Sell, Sacrifice Early, Live Later. And then there's another one, Don't Start Until Your Day is Finished. Explain those two to us.
Yeah, so it's sell, sacrifice early, live later. And basically that means while you're young, while you're in the game young, while you're when you're starting off, be willing to make the sacrifices. So like with my business right now, I founded an online group called Grindation. That's a separate business from my speaking. And it is a business that I'm building. I do not collect a salary from that. So all of the income that comes in from that goes right back into the business. That goes right back into Grindation. I'm sacrificing early so I could live later. And the live later is about the legacy. So I'm building and growing the business. It's like a woman when she gets pregnant with a child. It takes minimum 9 months for the baby to,
develop and all this other stuff inside. And then in the 9th month, the baby comes out. It's the same thing with a business. They say it takes 3 to 5 years in order to see a profit. And then what most people don't really understand, what aspiring entrepreneurs don't understand, is just because you got money coming in doesn't mean that you're profitable. Because that money needs to go into marketing, that needs to go into operations, that needs to go into all these other different areas of the business so you can continue to stay in business and keep growing. And then the other one is finish your day before it starts. And what that means is, so right now, I need to know what my day looks like tomorrow, because distractions come in. Secondary activity is going to come in. We're about to be in 2017. Social media has taken over our life. And while most people use social for social, I use social for business, and it still has taken over our life. And so you have to plan out your day before it starts. The reason why most people aren't successful is because they don't have the discipline and the focus to do what it is that they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. So when somebody calls your phone tomorrow, and you might have a schedule, somebody gonna call your phone, you're gonna answer it. You ain't finishing your day before it starts. You should know, I ain't taking no phone calls between this time and that time. I have this to finish. So you want to finish your day before it starts. It creates the discipline of mastering time management.
And now the 5 a.m. work week, that's basically you getting up every day before 5 a.m. What does that do for you?
Well, the earlier you start your day, the more day you got. So when I get up, I typically wake up at 4. I don't get out of bed at 4. I wake up at 4, get my head right. Literally the very first thing I do is grab my phone to see if I had any sales. I'm gonna just, hey, this is business. To see if any sales came in, see if I had any important emails come in. Because I got clients internationally in the UK on different time zones. I got a client in Europe on like a 10-hour different time zone. So I'm checking emails, seeing if any sales came in, book sales, any new members came into Grindation. Is something that I need to attack real quick. And then I get up and I stretch, I exercise because I have a condition that causes my body. I wake up achy and sore, so I have to exercise. I got to do my little push-ups. I got to get my mind right. And then I start to grind. I start to work. And you start early because at that time in the morning, ain't nobody up. At that time in the morning, you can get some quiet time. Your phone ain't going off crazy at that time in the morning because average people are asleep.
Speaking of going back to some of the books you have one, it's Your Work Has to Match Your Want. You have another edition of it. Let's talk about that. So how did you come about writing this book, and what does it do for the people that read it?
So this book, what I did was, that first book that you saw, it was a workbook, and that was my 4th book. So with this, it was about a year in between. I grew tremendously. I traveled more. And as most people know, I work with ETA, Eric Thomas and Associates. And so I learned so much on the road with them, and I learned so much from building and growing and maturing. And I know people say, but man, you almost 50 years old. What you mean maturing? I'm still maturing and still growing as an adult. And that's something that you want to do every day. And so when I sat back and I looked at all of the work, my body of work that I had new content, new sessions. I've learned some new things. I decided to take that book because I love the title. The title is what I live by. Whatever it is that you want, you got to work. And most people don't want to work for it. They just want it. And so I really gutted out that book, and I filled it up with that. And so in this book, what we're talking about is what it takes to be great and how to grind for great and not for money. How to manage your daily time. So for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. I had a client come to me and they said, I just don't have time. I ain't got time in my day to do it all. I'm doing this. And so I said, you got to manage your time. You got to do time blocks. So I said, it's 168 hours in a week, in a 7-day week. It's 168 hours. 56 of those hours you should be asleep. That's if you sleep 8 hours a day. And typically nobody sleeps 8 hours a day. But I'm going to give you 56. 50 of those hours you working, 40 hours at the job, 10 hours going and 10 hours coming back. I'm giving you, or 10 hours going and coming back. I'm going to give you that. 20 hours you should be spending with your family. And then I'm going to throw in 20 hours for you to trick off. That's time to trick off and do whatever it is that you're going to do with your time. Let's just keep it real. That leaves you with 22 hours per week. Free time, 3.14 hours per day. So now I done gave you extra trick off time. I done gave you extra sleep time. If you really bump that 22 hours, it's probably bumped up to 40 hours a week, which means you got 8 hours a day to really get it done. You got time. And then I have another part in this book where it's called Your Daily Grind, where we track your day every 30 minutes. And so if you track your day every 30 minutes, and we do it for 5 days straight. So every 30 minutes, and I had one of my clients, she did it. At the 3rd day, she stopped. The third day she stopped and she said, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm spending 4 hours a day on social media. And she don't make money on social media. 4 hours a day on social media. And that's your daily grind. That is what you call mastering your day. That is equivalent to finishing your day before it starts.
Now, while you use your books to motivate your people, you have Grindation. What does that do for your members?
So I realized a while ago I can go in and I can have a great speech. It's just like you go to church. Most people right after the sermon, you ask somebody, well, what was he talking about? So people will retain a certain percentage of what they hear. But when they read something, they retain it even more. And if you write it, you'll retain it even more. So what I said was, I'm gonna make a book so that when I leave, I can leave a piece of me with you. But then I'm gonna make the book also a workbook where you gotta write in the book. Because if you're retaining what you heard me say, now you're retaining what you're reading, and then you're writing in the book, and you're getting that much more from it. And then also in here, once you can get all that inside, and you starting to work, and you starting to make some things happen, now you can give me a call, and we can even take your, we can take that lesson a little further.
All right. And now, you're a mentor to everybody who's a part of Grindation. Do you have a mentor?
Oh yeah, every coach needs a coach. I don't even play. Eric Thomas and CJ, you know, E.T., the hip hop preacher, the best motivational speaker in the world, and his right hand, president of his company, CJ. I've been rocking with them for 3 years. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, before I got the coach, I was hustling backwards. For real, I thought I was doing something. But you can't measure yourself against yourself. Like a crooked stick doesn't know it's crooked until it sees a straight stick. My ring finger, she crooked. He crooked right there, crooked. But it don't know it's crooked until it sees a straight one. And so I saw a straight stick. And when I saw a straight stick, I was like, you know how people say they have an aha moment? I had an ooh moment. I was like, ooh. And as I started to stay connected, I realized that the only way for people, one of the major ways for people to be successful is to get connected to successful people. And so I created Grindation. And so I made it so where we do private one-on-one sessions, but in between that time, we have an online community of people that are attempting and pushing to grind. So we keep everybody motivated. The accountability is 24 hours, 7 days a week. And then when I sit with you and we do our private sessions, I'm giving you the strategic plan from not just what I'm learning, but from 20 years experience of being a full-time entrepreneur. So even though I've worked with the best in the business in this phase in my life, I got 20 years of experience being a full-time entrepreneur. I'm talking about evictions. I'm talking about car repossessions. I'm talking about ain't got enough money to do nothing. I'm talking about mortgage late. I'm talking about going through the go-through. Not just going through what it looks like, but actually going through what it feels like. Divorce, bad parenting, the whole nine. Learning how to make something from nothing. And when you learn how to do that and you make a decision to say, yo, this is the life that I really want, then you got to put yourself around people that's trying to get what you're trying to get.
And how often do you talk to your mentor?
I sit with CJ every week, and that's been every week for the last 3 years. And as far as E, just whenever it's necessary, you know, like I travel with them pretty much everywhere they go, except for international. In 2017, I'll be in London and Australia with them.
That's you
right now. Yeah, but see, it's levels, right? So when I started traveling with them, one of my clients gave me a companion pass on Southwest. So I was traveling, you know, and then like 3 months in, it stopped. So you got to make a decision. So I got to come out of my pocket now. So then I realized that it's not expensive to travel. But then I learned that while I was on the road with them, while I could be with them and still serve, I learned how to make something from nothing. So I started building the Grindation while I was on the road. And so I would post, I'm gonna be in this city, be in that city, and people would call me up and I would do private consults. And I grew my own business while I was supporting them in their business and still learning by being in the background, by being behind the closed door, not just by listening and sitting in the seat in the audience. It's behind the closed door where I learned how to do most of what I'm doing right now. And so that is the benefit. And anybody that says that they want to be a coach needs to have a coach. Period, point blank. You can't be sitting at Oprah Winfrey got 5 coaches. Who else? Oprah got coaches. Grant Cardone in his new book, Obsessed, say he got coaches. People that are successful put themselves around people that are successful. Denzel Washington been in the game forever. He still got acting coaches.
That's why he's one of the best actors out there.
Say it again?
That's why he's one of the best actors out there.
And you want to be the best, you got to be around the best.
But how can the world get in contact with you?
So I love saying this too. So, you know, a lot of people, they go on, this is my social media, this is my website, just Google me. Kendall Ficklin, Kendall, F as in Frank, Icklin. Put me in Google, everything will pop up. There was a time when I couldn't say that. There was a time when I say put me in Google, you see a mugshot. But like I tell all the young people, you know, if you can't let go of what happened, you'll never be ready for what's coming. So you got to not only let go of that, but your body of work you should be putting in so much work that mugshot that I had in 2009, that thing's so far down in the Google page, you got to go through at least 15, 20, 30 pages because I've been putting in work. I've been putting in work. And so all that work, all that good going on top of the bad. So you always want to let your good days outweigh your bad.
So there you have it. If you want to get in contact with him, Google him, Kendall Ficklin. To get in contact with me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Blame It On Shad. Follow the blog at Young Millionaires Mind on Instagram and Twitter. Also, make sure you visit the website, www.youngmillionairesmind.com.
I'm just too lavish. 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 Yeah. Then I hit her with the slammer. Shawty say she like my country grammar. Yeah. Then I pour the lean into the fountain. All these racks on me, I feel like stunner. Shawty dog, I was flex.